Welcome back to Leaving the Lies and Speaking Your Truth. We're going to finish part 2 of our interview with Garry Stone. Garry, I'm going to start off with a question. You were just saying how you left the House of Yahweh when you were about 19 after they started requiring that you give confessions. We talked about the multiple marriage. Were you ever in a relationship or seeing somebody or dating, for lack of a better word? I know they didn't call it that in the House of Yahweh, but were you ever in a relationship with anybody inside the House of Yahweh?
Well, I mean, I grew up as I see you creeping. um, yeah, I was. I mean, I had a few little, teenage loves, but yes, there was one in particular that I was. Yes, my first love was at there. Yes.
So was
Um,
that, did that relationship end or disintegrate because of you leaving? Is that what ended that?
um, we both kind of left about the same time,
Okay.
and parents kind of. I never got like an excommunication letter or anything. I just kind of left on my own.
Right.
Um, my parents did. They got a letter.
Okay, well, when did your parents leave compared to when you left, Garry? Did they leave it around the same time or?
It, after me. I don't. I think they might have gone to one more feast after, but I don't remember exactly when they stopped going. By that time, I had moved on with my life, and um, I
Okay,
was.
I'm going to back up because I have another question about you leaving that feast and deciding you weren't going back after doing the confessions. Did you kind of get in trouble when you got home? Did you face any
Oh yeah.
consequence?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So did you call them before you got home and said, "Hey, I'm not doing this," and I refused, and I'm on my way home, but I didn't do it?
No, I didn't really get into any of that till I got home, and yes, I kicked out of the house.
Oh, wow, that's a pretty extreme consequence. What did you do then? Where did you
uh,
go?
I lived with a friend. Um,
Wow.
I had started at that time. I was in culinary school, and I was working in restaurants. So I had made some good friends, and I think actually when I first left, I lived with Orland for a couple months. Where my oldest sister's first husband. Um, I lived with him briefly, because he had left by that time,
Right.
and yeah, there I didn't really have anywhere to go there for a minute, so I lived with Orland for a minute until I got my own place.
Well, that kind of
Uh,
brings me to another question. I'm asking all kinds of questions that weren't on the list, but so do you think your mom agreed with this, or was this kind of more your dad's decision and your mom had to follow along?
it was 100% my dad's decision. Um, yeah,
So
it
your
Okay,
was.
mom
wait,
your
hold
mom
on
didn't
a
want to
minute.
kick you out.
Hold on. Your father with his second wife 90% of the time, but
Mm,
telling your mother that she had to kick her baby out.
yeah,
Yeah. In a house that he didn't even live in anymore, right? Because he was living with his second wife.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he still came around. Those 2 weeks a month. He would still come around. Um,
Now, were you told not to
uh,
talk to your mom? Was your mom told not to talk to you? Because I doubt you two listened to that if you were.
I don't know if he was ever told not to talk to me. It didn't take long before fences were mended, and they left, and we were.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because,
It,
yeah, you said they only went to maybe one more feast after that or
right.
something. Okay.
Um, but from then on, it had a profound relationship on both of my parents, as far as it kind of, my mom and I's relationship got stronger, and my father and I's relationship got weaker. Um, we yeah.
So did you end up ever moving back in with your mom after that or no? Okay.
No.
Hmm. Okay, but I just want to reiterate one thing before somebody hears this and is stopping and thinking like me.
Okay.
His mother, phenomenal, caring, loving woman. And I'm
100%.
going to leave it at that. And that's all I'm going to say because I'm only talking about his mother. So
Thanks.
with that, we will move on.
Okay.
Has the House of Yahweh, being in the House of Yahweh, affected the way you father now, or relationships that with women that you may have had?
I think it had to have affected the way I raised my son. I've been lucky. I've got an incredible son that, I couldn't ask for a better child. And
let me just say, he's
that
adorable too. I've seen his pictures on Facebook. He is so cute.
He's almost the same height as me now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, everybody keep in mind, Garry is 6 foot, if not taller.
I'm 6'3".
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's about 6'2".
How old is he, Garry? How old is he?
He's 17.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't seen any pictures of him recently. I was thinking he was still little.
No, he's 17.
Wow. Can
Yeah.
you imagine Garry, who we can't even picture him being 17, has a 17-year-old
No,
kid?
we need to stop discussing ages now. We know the rule. I am from the South. We
Okay.
don't see
Okay.
ages when it comes to them figuring out my age.
Okay, but Garry just does not seem old enough to have a 17-year-old child. So we're going to pretend he's not. Continue on. So how do you think that's affected the way you've raised your son, Garry?
I think I was way more lenient on him than I was ever.
Oh, there we go.
I think I was way more lenient on him than my father was ever on me. But I don't know. We've just always had a very good relationship. He's my best friend. His mother and I got divorced when he was about 10, and he's always primarily lived with me. His mother lives out in the boondocks, so there's really no good schools out there, and so he's lived with me since then.
And you think that's partially just because you feel that your dad was so strict on you that you feel that affected your ability to connect with him in a way that you wanted to, and so you want to make sure you created that bond with your son?
Absolutely, yeah. I was afraid to talk to him. I couldn't relate with him, and it just, I didn't want that relationship with my son. I wanted something more, and
well, good for you. You broke that cycle. That's awesome, Garry. I love that.
I'm lucky that he made it very easy for me. I've always enjoyed being a father, and it's he's a good
awesome.
Kid.
So do you think oh, go ahead.
So the second part of the question is, do you think because of what you watched your mother go through that affected the way that you had relationships with women?
I don't know if that really changed any of the way that I would treat women. Having, to this day, my mom would still whoop my ass if I was anything less than respectful to a woman. So that, I don't know that really hasn't had any bearing. I know I hadn't really thought about it until I was preparing for this interview that I guess I've always tended to be attracted to strong women. And that had never really occurred to me until I started thinking about it. And so
analyzing
I don't know
it more. Yeah.
Like the challenge, or I'm a glutton for punishment.
Oh.
That's awesome.
So, Garry, do you have any memories? Oh, wait, I think we lost your volume. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you have any memories, good or bad, that you would like to share with us about your House of Yahweh experience?
I don't. I've tried to think about this, and I don't really. There's nothing that sticks out in my mind. I've had, just going over these questions, I've had hundreds of memories just coming back, but nothing in particular that I.
What are your two, what would you say your two fondest memories are? Or one fond. One good, just one. Well, I won't put too much pressure on you. We'll say one.
Oh. I guess my fondest memories are just with the people. They're the people out there are just the most incredible people you'd ever meet in your life, and it breaks my heart that they're being taken advantage of, and whether they're still there or whether they've left. I mean, this place is destroyed so many lives, so many families, so many relationships, and that's my fondest memory is just the people. Everyone that I met is, I mean, of course there were the bad apples, but for the most part, 95% of the people there were the most wonderful people you'd ever meet.
Absolutely.
And, that's what I try to remember.
Well, I have a memory of Garry, and when I was coming up with these questions, I thought to myself, I'm going to tell this memory. Because I was big and round and pregnant with Sarah Beth, and the feast was 44 acres, so people can imagine this.
Mm-hmm.
And Melody was on the other side of the feast ground from where the sanctuary was.
And mind you, I was also big and round and pregnant because we were pregnant for Eric and Sarah at the same time.
Yes. And I had to make my way over to here, but I remember I was so hungry. And I stopped where the cafeteria playground where people would sit and eat their stuff. And I sat down. And I mean, I know I was huffing and puffing. And here comes Garry in his black suit with this white shirt. And you stopped and you said, "Are you okay?" And I looked up at you and I was crying, and you were like, well, are you, is it time? Because, Melody and I didn't know when we were fixing to pop. And I said, "I just want to eat. I'm so hungry." And you disappeared, Garry, and you came back less than 5 minutes later with chips and I think a sandwich and all this food and drink, and your hands were full, and you plopped it down. And I was just so overcome with emotion, and you just kind of stood there. I'll tell him you're going to be late, and then you turned and you left. But I remember that because I also remember, I think it took me 2 minutes to inhale all of this food. But I will never forget that. You were on your toes. This man, she wants food. Let me go find her some food. I don't know where you got it. I don't know how you managed to get it that quick, but you fed me and Sarah Beth. I remember that memory.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's funny.
So, well, how did I get stuck with these questions? Okay, so Garry, we know that you still have a sister in the house. Is there a message that you would like to send to her or say to her?
Luckily, I still have somewhat of a relationship with her. We text from time to time. She always texts me on my birthday. Generally, I'm the one that reaches out more frequently than she does, but she'll always answer. Anytime I text, she'll always answer me. And we don't really talk about anything. It's more just, I'm thinking about you, kind of stuff. And, I've told her many times that it takes as one text message and I'll be there in 24 hours. And nobody's going to stop me from taking you from that place. And at least I hope she knows that. I don't know if, it's just hard to say. I try to.
Okay, if that happens, can we come with you?
She's, I kind of just treat her with kid gloves. I look at her kind of like an injured animal. Like, she doesn't know that you're trying to help her. So if you try to, reach out too quickly, she's going to either lash out or she's going to run. And neither of which are outcomes that I want. So I kind of just send her a message from time to time to let her know that I'm thinking about her. And, I'm always here, one text message. That's all it takes. But I hope she knows that.
Well, if she doesn't, she sure does now, and as because we were also so close in age and such good friends with your
Mhm.
sister too. This this is a harder one than I thought it was going to be. Look at she's crying, I'm crying. Um, so Gary, in saying that,
Hold on, hold on
okay,
just a minute. I want to say something. And I know this is your interview, Gary, but I'm going to say her name. Christy, Carrie, and I. There wasn't Mel. Mel was there often, but the
let's be
three.
real. I was pretty wrapped up in my relationship with Justin, so I was not
Mhm.
as involved.
Okay.
Yeah, it was always
Okay.
it was you and Carrie, Christy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say that I know your family and you would be there, but I would like to say, if she's listening, that she is so very loved. No questions asked, no judgment. Life will just continue on, and I will, I will be there with your family with opened arms, and that I love you and I miss you greatly. And I know it's your interview, Gary, but I was excited for this interview because your sister was my best friend, and you were my little brother, and your older sister, still to this day, she's my Malin and I'm her Weezer. And your family is very, very special to both of us. I'm sorry. Now, go ahead, Mel.
Okay, so do you have any last words or thoughts to share for anybody who might be watching from the House of Yahweh or any other cult that is thinking about leaving? Any words of advice?
I'd really just to anybody that's stuck in that position, just know that somebody out there loves you, and somebody out there cares about you. And if nobody does, call me. I'll come help you. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Okay. We're all doing it.
And to those of you that still have family there, just don't give up on them. Just tell them you love them and be there for them. And that's really all you can do, I think.
I think you're right. So I love that, Gary. That's a good message. Very touching. Very. I hope anybody who out there, takes that to heart and certainly takes that into consideration, because there's so much truth to it. There's so much truth to it because there. Honestly, the truth is that I don't. There are people there that I don't even know, that if they called me and asked me for help, I would try my best to help them. Even if there's somebody I never even knew when I was there, I would try to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest reason that I did this, was just in case there is someone out there that is on the fence about leaving, or doesn't think they can, or doesn't think they have the strength. You do have the strength, and if you don't, then you have someone that will give you the strength. And I know it's hard for those of us that still have family there, and especially Christy. We were very close, and we're very much alike. And I haven't seen her in 21 years.
Wow.
So it's been, she's never met my son. And
wow.
that really breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure you've told him about his aunt that he's never met. I'm sure he's heard a lot about her.
Pictures of him all the time. So she's watched him growing up. She's just never physically met him or talked to him.
Gary, I appreciate you coming and doing this with us. There were some hard-hitting questions, some revelations that I didn't know that had to have been difficult for you. I thank you for your honesty. I thank you for agreeing on coming on here, and not only that, but for extending help and encouragement. And I know for a fact that you mean it. And I would also like to be the third one to say to anybody watching this, if you can't get a hold of one of them, get a hold of me. I'll show up. I mean, they will too, but you need somebody crazy to show up. I'm the one to call. No, but really.
You could be
Garry,
the crazy.
I just do what?
I say you can be the crazy. I'll be the muscle.
I'll take it.
And I'll plan the trip.
She's the organizer. I appreciate you more than you know, Garry. I love you so very much. I'm so proud of the young man you were and the man you are today. I ask anybody to come to to subscribe on the link below to this YouTube page. I would ask that after watching this video, you leave some love and comments for Garry. I ask that you go to our Facebook page and to join our group, Leaving the Lies and Telling Your Truths, and to share the page. If anybody out there, whether you are in the House of Yahweh or in another cult, would like to do an interview with us or just talk to us, message either myself or Melody, and we will set up a time. Also, one real quick thing I would like to make people aware of: you don't message us and we say, okay, we'll do it. We do a little pre-interview, get to know you, talk to you, and try to make it as comfortable as possible for you. I thank you so much, Garry. I can't say this enough. I absolutely love you. Melody, thank you for today, and thank you for this journey. As always, it's a pleasure helping people tell their stories with you. I ask everybody to have a fabulous day and know how blessed you are and love your family. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.